Hello, Dylan here, and welcome to a video talking about a manga that we turned to an anime called World's End Harem. My saved notes do not say this, but I know it's World's End Harem. And I would have talked about this sooner, but I wanted to read a bit of it first, and then I got lazy, but now I'm doing it. I'm not going to say too much, just like the general idea of it mainly. I mean, there's some story that I'm going to talk about, but that's about it. But with this one, it's gonna be similar to Interspecies Reviewers, where it's gonna be a lots of sex in it. But first, let's start with how it got to that point, which is kind of how the first chapter is. It literally shows what is happening at the moment, and then it goes back to explain how it got there. So that's kind of how. So I guess I'm kind of doing the same thing with this. At the beginning, everything's fine. But it's like a futuristic world around 2040, the year 2040, where you only work if you want to, and everything's done by machines or AI. And we meet our first protagonist. Yes, first there are multiple. I think there's like at least 5, and this first protagonist is Rito Mizuhara, who develops multiple sclerosis, a pretty lethal disease, and plans to go into cryostasis until an AI finds a cure for it, which is how they get their cures for diseases at the time. It's supposed to last around like 4 to 5 years for him. And it did last 5 years, so we're now in 2045. But about 4 years from then, 2041, so a year after he first went into cryostasis, a new virus popped up called the MK virus. And none of the best AI and supercomputers could find a cure for it. Half of the population on Earth is dead now because the full name of that virus is called the Man Killer virus. MK, Man Killer. You can see how that goes together. However, because some of the men went into cryostasis before that happened, the total casualty is 99.9% of men. Not every single one, just 99.9%. So yeah, only 5 of the men in cryostasis are immune to it, aka the 5 protagonists I talked about. And the connection is that, just like our first protagonist, they all had multiple sclerosis. So obviously, billions of women who didn't have any men around for like 4 years. A good chunk of them might be a bit man crazy when they see our boy Rito. This is where the whole lots of sex thing comes in, because now it's his job to reproduce with the women left here on Earth, aka we need to repopulate. That's kind of just the first chapter, the whole thing. The second chapter actually tells us a bit more about how he's actually the second person to wake up, and the chapter also explains why embryos won't form through insemination with those that are immune. Only through actual sex can the immune men can embryos be formed via that. No one knows why, but that's just how it is in the story. So now he has to go pick out women he wants to fuck. Yeah, no, this wouldn't be a proper manga if at least one of the MCs weren't, declining it. Obviously, you need to have that stereotype. You need to have that cliche in there somewhere. Because one, he has eyes for one woman who you do see before he goes into cryostasis, and will only do it with her. Also, he does have a sister, but I didn't sense any sister roots while reading it yet. I didn't sense anything like that yet. So we might be good on the whole incest kind of thing. We might be good with it. Might be good on that. Might be like, I suggest that you go and read it for yourself before the anime adaptation starts in 2021. Unless, of course, it gets delayed because of what. It might end up getting delayed until like 2022 instead. Who knows? But I urge you to check it out. And it's actually something that is pretty... And with these manga, it's weird because with these, I end up reading some manga because I hear there's an anime adaptation coming out of it. A couple examples. are how heavy are the dumbbells you lift. So I started reading this manga because I heard about an anime adaptation that came out or was coming out. So I decided to read it, and I ended up liking it. So and then I ended up watching the anime, obviously. And then there's of course the usual interspecies reviewers, which yeah, finding out about that, and then decided to read it first before it came out, and yeah, so I'm doing the same with this one. So yeah, go and check this manga out, World's End Harem, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit like, hit subscribe to join this guild I'm making here on YouTube, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.